Leroy, you just listened to the last 10 minutes of that conversation. Sorry we couldn't get you in earlier, but what do you make of this whole who should be quarterback 2 debate between Shedeur Sanders and Bailey Zappi and the decision ahead of Kevin Stefanski?
I'm going to tell y'all a story. And this was my rookie year. First of all, there's a rule. If a coach starts listening to the fans, he'll be sitting amongst them.
That's
right?
Well said.
So, I was playing, and it was my rookie year, so we were terrible. I mean, really, we were bad. Like, all our guys were like 35 years or older. In fact, Ozzie was still playing. Clay Matthews Sr. was still playing. That's how old our team was. They started the league. Their first year in the league, I was 8 years old. Now I'm playing football with them. So that's how old our team was.
God,
they had
that's
just
crazy.
Right. So, Bernie was struggling, and my rookie year, Bernie got sacked more times than anybody in the history of the NFL. So there's that, right? We're playing the game. We're not playing very well, and the fans start yelling, "Pay go, pay go, pay go, pay go." So Bud Carson threw Pagel in the game.
Remember that.
Right? Pagel's first pass was a pick 6. You know what the fans did? Bernie, Bernie, Bernie. So you be careful when you talk about what the fans want to win. The fans think they know, based on no information, what they could do to win. And Shedeur Sanders is a nice name. Let me explain something to you. You sitting in the same meeting rooms, right?
Yeah.
Here's the difference. The third string quarterback gets 0 reps at practice.
Right.
So once you've been deemed the third string quarterback, that coach has no idea if you're even ready to play because he's never seen you run one play for that game, call one protection, call one signal, nothing. So if you have to go to your third string quarterback during the course of a game, everybody say your prayers because that coach is just up in the air as the rest of us. That's why being QB2 matters. You get reps during the week. Your preparation is different. Now, the one thing that is true, as a professional athlete, your ass better be ready at all times. I don't care what your situation is. Your situation could change tomorrow. So if that situation were to present itself and Shedeur was not ready with the checks or the calls, he might not have the timing down, right? Because that takes reps. But if he doesn't know the calls or the checks or anything like that, shame on him. Because that part of the preparation you're supposed to be picking up on in that meeting room.
Interesting. What's your take, Leroy? Because the way Mike worded the question was interesting. It's not who should be the Browns' backup. It was who will be the Browns' backup. Because as you know, the Browns use unconventional wisdom all the time. Answer it both ways, though. Who should be and who will be in your view? We're going to find out at noon.
Who? Oh, you're talking about
right now
for this week?
Yeah. What should the depth chart look like?
It depends. Because, like, sometimes when you take a guy like Shedeur and move him to the backup role, it's invigorating. It's like a carrot, right? And you testing that guy to see if he's going to put the work in and be ready to play on a given notice, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you would do that. If you leave him at QB3 and you move somebody else up, you're basically saying that this guy is not here doing what he needs to do to prepare to play quarterback.
Right.
Right? Which is a whole nother level. Now, let me be clear. I'm not the foremost expert on coming in and doing all the professional things as a rookie. So if there's anybody that can sympathize with a guy that was used to being the guy that come in and now you don't even hardly play, I sympathize with him. But it is your job to show everybody on your team and in that coaching staff that you are doing what it takes to be ready to play. Because a lot of times in those situations, sometimes the players speak on your behalf, right? Sometimes, no, I had Tony Jones come speak on my behalf. Hey, this guy needs to play more. So, like, there's a lot that goes into it than just, well, let's just throw him in. Let's just do this. No, Kevin Stefanski trying to win. It's his job to win. You think if Shedeur was better than Dillon Gabriel, he wouldn't be in there? Nobody ain't going to sabotage their own success.
Bingo. Yeah. Bingo.
So the question I'm asking, Leroy, is when you move on from Joe Flacco,
yeah,
at some point,
I told y'all this was coming. I told y'all Joe Flacco was a relief pitcher. You can't bring him in to start a game.
At some point, I'm going by what the owner told me. The owner said you're going to see Dillon Gabriel and you're going to see Shedeur Sanders at some point this year. Under no circumstances am I advocating that I never said that the Shedeur Sanders should be running around starting completely today, right? What I'm saying though is if you traded Joe Flacco and you traded Kenny Pickett and you still have Shedeur Sanders on your roster, at some point does that not mean that he's doing things at least to a point where you feel comfortable on moving away from veterans who you've invested in money and assets?
Absolutely. Like, you're not going to make a move unless you think you have the infrastructure in your building to be able to make that move. Right? Now, I think the Joe Flacco thing might have been out of respect for Joe Flacco. We're not going to just have you back up these guys. We're going to see if we can get you out of here and maybe go somewhere to play.
Yep.
Right? And so I don't, believe me when I say this, I don't take a lot out of it. They weren't making a big statement. They might have just been doing a guy who they really respect a solid. That's it.
Were you surprised it was inside the division, though? That surprised me.
Hey.
Flacco stinks. Who cares?
I know, but trades aren't made inside the divisions.
Whoa. Hey, let me tell you something. Bless your heart. You think the Browns trading him to Cincinnati, they were sitting in the room going, I don't know if we should trade him to
no, but Cincinnati clearly wanted him, or they wouldn't have called the Browns for him.
Wait, you know what they're saying? Maybe he could do some of the things he did for us for them.
Yeah, throw it to us now for a chance.
Yes, exactly.
I know, but
exactly.
It's still, I don't know. I had a couple of folks that were in management in the NFL yesterday that I reached out to, and they said, "Yeah, we just didn't do that. We had a pretty hard, fast rule.
Some people have that rule.
Some people have that.
Wait.
I'm not saying everybody did, but I'm saying
got one
it's
worse.
very rare.
Hey,
it's very rare.
Wait a minute. I got one worse for you. Saquon Barkley going from the New York Giants to the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's free agency. Giants couldn't do it.
But
the Giants had nothing to do about that.
The Giants could have signed him.
Yeah,
he wanted to stay there.
Sure, the Giants but it's not like they said here to one of our rivals, here, take him.
You don't remember that the owner came in and talked to the GM and said, I'm gonna be. You sure we should let him go? He's gonna maybe sign in the division.
Yeah.
You don't remember that in season?
No, I do.
Yeah,
but
they still didn't trade him.
A different circumstance because it's not like they picked up the phone and said, "Here, take our great guy."
No.
He just was free to sign wherever he wanted to, and he signed inside the division. That happens, but look, I think you know what, Leroy? I think it's a fabulous test case, and here's why. When we watched Joe Flacco, we said, "Well, why is he so bad now? Is it because there's no offensive line, or is it because they have no wide receivers?" Well, now he's going to a team that has no offensive line but has receivers. So I'm fascinated to see how he plays there. Because if he balls out and their receivers come to life, it goes to show you that I think receivers would trump offensive line. Having someone to throw the ball to is pretty important. And Cincinnati has a couple of guys.
What you have just said, my friend, is blasphemous.
Why?
A wide receiver is more, but here's the deal. Go look at all the contenders.
I get
What's
that.
the starting point?
But if he balls out
now
Cincinnati with a bad offensive line but good receivers, we learned something from that, Leroy.
You know what we learned? Joe Flacco can't run, and you got a group in front of him that can't block. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's the same thing he had here. So that's what I'm saying. He had no success here because he had no receivers and no offensive line. Now he's going to a place that has great receivers and no offensive line. Let's just see how it works out. I'm curious to see what he does there. That's it.
Yeah, no, listen. Joe Flacco is going to play 2 or 3 weeks of the best football you have ever seen. I can't tell you when they're going to come, but you are going to watch this man throw the football because he's got an arm still till this day. Then he's going to do Joe Flacco things. I can't explain it. I like Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
Joe Flacco's fun to watch. That guy had brought more joy at the end of one season for 8 games than we've had in Cleveland in a long time. Since Baker was here. Right?
Yeah.
So, but he just can't do it for a long stretch. And it's been like that for a few years. So, yeah, he may go there and have some success, and I may talk to you in a week or two, and you say, that Joe Flacco threw for 350. I'm like, yes, that's what he does. Jameis Winston is the same way. Those are 2 quarterbacks. They could throw for 400 yards and then throw for 40 and 5 picks the very next week.
By the way, as a Bengals fan, I would rather have them traded for Winston than Flacco personally. But let's talk about the Browns running back here, Leroy, because Quinshon Judkins looks like an absolute stud. Give us your breakdown of him.
Yes. He is, he looks like he looks like what we had in Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't get him on the ground. He's explosive. As the game goes on, he wears you down. It's exactly what you want from that position. It's unfortunate that the 2 things that every good team needs, you have in a defense and in a running game, and you can't hold it together with the other parts.
Well, that's because you need a quarterback more than those things, Leroy.
But can I tell you what the problem with the NFL is right now?
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they need Patrick Mahomes to win. And so everybody spins their wheels trying to find the next Patrick Mahomes, when in actuality, you probably at some point in time had a guy who was good enough, but it wasn't good enough for you, and you play quarterback games for the next 10 years. You see what I'm saying?
I see exactly what you're saying.
For example, look at Baker Mayfield, and I don't know what, and I'm just mentioning it for this reason. Now we gonna say Baker Mayfield was probably the best quarterback the Browns had. Why didn't they recognize that? Right? Because you think you can get better. You don't need a top. Listen, and I want everybody to understand what I'm saying. You don't need a top 5 quarterback to win the Super Bowl. Stop it with this.
You need a top 10.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think once upon a time you did, but you don't anymore.
You don't? When's the last time you won without a top 10 quarterback?
Last year. Jalen Hurts not a
Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback.
Oh,
really? Why? Because he won? Because they were trying to run him out of town too.
Well, they're stupid. What can I tell you, Leroy?
Okay. And the Browns tried to. They're like, listen, you need a competent quarterback. A competent quarterback is a quarterback that ain't gonna throw for 300 every week, but every now and then when you need him to make a play, he can make a play. That's not a top 10 quarterback. That is a competent quarterback.
Yeah, but Leroy, the only team that's won a Super Bowl without a top 10 quarterback in the last 20 years was or last 15 years, whatever, was that one year with Nick Foles in Philly, and Nick Foles in that postseason played like a top 10 quarterback. He was amazing the entire postseason.
Well, again, you're go look at the teams and players to win the quarterbacks to win Super Bowls. At no point in time, there's probably, I'd say it's probably 60-40 and 60 not top 5.
Really? See, I would disagree
Yes.
with that.
In recent
Go
years,
look.
it's
Go
all
look
been
at the
top
list of.
quarterbacks.
Go look at the list of quarterbacks.
Well, if you just go in the last 20, because let's face it, the NFL is cyclical and it's
Yeah.
a much
Well, it
different
was
league today.
right, it was Tom
But
Brady,
Leroy-
Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning.
Yeah, so they took up a lot of them.
Tom Brady, Peyton Manning,
Ben
Drew Brees,
Roethlisberger.
Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger.
But the interesting thing about it, I think that in general, Bull is right, but I do think that things are shifting. Patrick Mahomes threw a pick 6 and lost to Jacksonville. You know, I mean, I do think that they were chasing Patrick Mahomes, but I just think the NFL is built differently now. Look at this. Look at the throw charts. Look at where the passes are going now. Even Mahomes, he's not throwing the ball 20 yards down the field. Everybody's
Right.
throwing the ball at or near the line of scrimmage.
It's still
You know
most
why?
important to have the good
Because-
quarterback.
Because it's a premium. There's a premium on offensive linemen right now. Everybody is feeling it throughout the
We're
league.
feeling
If you
it,
have
yeah,
a solid offensive line, then you have time to do all that stuff. The problem that Cincinnati is going to have is they're going to have another Andrew Luck situation if they keep going at this pace, where he just get
With
beat
Joe
up so
Burrow,
much
yeah.
he's like, I'm
And
done.
he's not going to retire.
No, he just means
That's
he's
what he
just
said
gonna
about
keep
Andrew
getting
Luck.
beaten into oblivion. You know.
All right.
Leroy, we could argue about whether or not you need a good quarterback or how you want to get him. But the question I have is, what is your level of faith that the Browns can identify that quarterback?
Can't.
Here's what I think. I think sometimes it's better to accept above average and not look for great and build it around that person. For
Or even
example,
competent.
right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's
I
what
agree
I'm
with
saying.
that.
In that, you swung and missed with Deshaun Watson. And it not only cost you Baker Mayfield, but it cost you 5 first-round picks. Wow. And I would say, was Deshaun Watson that much better than Baker that you could give up 5 first-round picks?
We now
He
know
was
the
at the
answer.
time.
Don't you start on this,
At the
Leroy.
time,
we
he was,
running
Leroy.
out of time.
Wait,
And you gonna
wait,
throw that up
wait,
from
wait,
Jay.
wait,
You
wait,
know
wait,
he about to go
God,
crazy.
I don't need to argue
Hey.
with that. Just look at the numbers.
Look,
That's easy.
Can I throw a caveat in there?
Yeah.
Can I throw a caveat in that? Also, understanding that you're not going to have him for the first year.
Right. Yeah, because you
So-
kind of knew that.
Right. So it'd have been different if you had picked up a quarterback and gave up all those picks and he's in camp and going right away.
Yeah.
Right?
What you're saying, Leroy, and we got to go, but what you're saying is one of my favorite statements. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. It's sometimes in your hunt.
The hell does that mean?
Parse it out. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. You've never heard that saying?
Yes,
What it
I'm
means
messing
is
with-
the Browns were looking for the Holy Grail. They had
Right.
good. And
Right.
they said good
They
wasn't
didn't.
good enough. We want perfect.
He wasn't
we want
good enough
top
at the time.
5.
He
So
wasn't good
now,
enough at the time.
Baker's a top
He was
5.
also hurt, Bull.
Revisionist history.
I know, but here's
See,
this is facts, and you can argue all you want. This is facts. They let perfect be the enemy of good. They were
That's not a
searching for
fact.
perfect. They went for Deshaun Watson. They're paying Deshaun Watson $230 million for this. Baker is now a top 5. And that's just facts. So
That was not all facts.
Don't
There was a
let
lot of facts.
perfect be the enemy of good.
Baker
And they
wasn't
did.
good. Baker wasn't good enough.
Took him to the
He was
playoffs.
also hurt.
He wasn't
Took
good
him to
enough
the
for
play-
what?
Right. You're
Here,
right.
here, Bull, let me say this.
Yeah.
Wasn't good enough for him. He was a guy, he had his struggles. He was hurt
Yeah.
the last year. But before that, he was also a guy that when you need him to make a play, he can make a play.
And
He didn't do it all the time.
That's not true.
He didn't do it all the time.
In mostly every big spot with the Browns, he threw picks. He had the worst turnover ratio of any quarterback in the league through that point. Obviously, since then he's just gotten better and better to the point now.
No, that's what
Hell out of
development.
Cleveland.
That's what
where
development is.
He's not a top
That's what
5
development is.
quarterback, but he's still really good. He's a top 10 quarterback. He's done great. I can't kill him. I've gone from hating Baker to where I'm actually rooting for him now, believe it or not. He's a top 10 quarterback, no doubt about it. But we can't have revisionist history. At the time of the trade, Deshaun Watson was a much better quarterback than Baker Mayfield.
And that was an opinion. And now we have the hay in the barn.
An opinion.
It was an opinion.
It was the majority opinion.
It was. You're right. I'll give you that. But it was the wrong opinion.
No, it wasn't.
Here's what happened.
Because it was he had been better
since the trade. He's been better than Baker.
I didn't say that.
Okay, so it's been proven to be false.
I told you.
I said at the time he was better. That was definitely true.
And that at the opinion, the majority opinion at the time was what you said.
Yeah.
But since
you
then,
gave an opinion too, and you just said it was fact. You said Baker was good. That's an opinion.
took him to the playoffs.
It's an opinion, Jay.
Yes,
is it not?
It is.
Okay, you called it
and
a fact.
your opinion that he wasn't good, I can corroborate mine with he took a team that hadn't gone to the playoffs in years to the playoffs.
So did Tyrod Taylor. Is he good?
Tyrod was turning.
Tyrod Taylor did the same thing in Buffalo. Was he good?
At that time, yes, he was.
No, he wasn't. He sucked.
Competent quarterback. He took a team to the playoffs.
You can't win a Super Bowl. You can't win a Super Bowl with Tyrod Taylor, and you couldn't win a Super Bowl with that Baker Mayfield. You probably can now. We'll see. Let's see if he does anything in the playoffs. He's a much different guy. He's a way better player than he was then. Let's not pretend he was this player then.
You are at 28 from 23 too. You're a different person.
Leroy's got the last point, then we're going to move on.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. At what point in all of this do you just dismiss development as a person, as a quarterback, or whatever? Right? Like, a lot of these young kids come into the league, and I was no different. And you have to learn how to be a professional. You have to learn how to handle. You have the skill set, but you have to learn. And right now, fans, teams don't have the patience to go through that. Is that the player's fault? Is that Baker Mayfield's fault that, you know, a lot of this stuff he's learning on the fly? Like, what, going from college to the NFL, right? Nobody really knows what the development period is. It's different for everybody. But we cut bait after a couple of years, say the guy's a bum.
I don't think nobody said he was a bum, Leroy. We just thought at the time, and it made a lot of sense at the time, that Deshaun Watson was better. Yeah.
Wait,
at the time, did you
do realize?
What did you think Deshaun was better than Baker at the time?
Here's what I was worried about.
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't play the year before.
That's fair. Yeah.
He was gonna miss a whole bunch of time the next year, where you're gonna be paying him part of that $230 million. Was that investment with a guy who hadn't played football in almost 2 years? Was it that much better than Baker Mayfield?
At the time, I and many others thought yes. So obviously, it wasn't.
I can't think of a person that is playing at a high level at that position that wasn't even around football for 2 years.
Well, we didn't know it was going to be 2 years, and it wasn't completely 2 years.
I can think of one guy, Randall Cunningham, when he came to Minnesota.
Michael Vick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but listen, he was athletic.
Yeah, but he had some great.
Watson was also really young too. Listen, we didn't know he was going to be suspended 11 games.
We're wasting time because there's too many.
All right, Leroy.
Opinions.
You guys are going to have Metcalf on. Can I tell you a quick Metcalf story?
Yes. Quickly.
You'll laugh at
Mike's
it.
going to have a coroner.
So
here.
me and Metcalf lived right next to each other. Our condos were adjoining. And every morning, Mr. Cool Eric Metcalf would open up his garage door with the clicker, remote start his car, let it get all warm while he's taking a shower. And I could hear all this going on. And I'm like, he is just so damn cool. So one morning, he opened up the garage. I heard the car start. I went and crawled in his back seat.
Damn.
And he got in the car and backed up, and I went, ah!
Oh, my God.
That's your biggest fear.
Oh, that is my biggest fear.
Adam talk about this all the time. He still checks the backseat of his car.
I do.
Do you really?
He does.
Ask him about it.
Oh, my God. You must have scared the crap out of him.
Can you imagine if someone like
He didn't look. He even got scared. Cool. He went.
We will absolutely ask him about it because I can't wait to hear his version of it. Leroy, take care, man. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Leroy.
Okay.
Thanks, Leroy.
All right.
Appreciate it.